amen.
Nedu odibo wani ko sebrowa. Ekele Maria, Egypt na Gracia, Osebrowa nonyeli, idengos nesti boronine, ojas ngos fwa forgive Jesu.
Maria daso nenke chubu.
Okwe melaro. Ekele Maria, Egypt na Gracia, Osebrowa nonyeli, idengos nesti boronine, ojas ngos fwa forgive Jesu.
Maria daso nenke chubu. Yabala iponde jayo. Kita namanyawari amen.
Yabalanya yo only nke Chukwu jaso. Ayo, anyị na-arịọ gị o Chukwu ka enye Gracia n'ime obi anyị ka anyị bụ ndị nje butere ụzọma wee mara iwere arụ Kristi nwa gị site n'afọ ya na obi ya wee bata n'osito na mbilite n'ọnwụ ya site na Kristi dị nwere anyị. Amen. Otito dịrị Nna na Nwa na Mmụọ Nsọ. Otito dịrị Nna na Nwa na Mmụọ Nsọ. Otito dịrị Nna na Nwa na Mmụọ Nsọ. Obi ndị niile kwerenụ gara aga. Abụrụ obi fa zuru ike na ndokwa.
Amen.
Onye nwe anyị nọnyere ụnụ. Ka Chineke dị ike niile gọzie ụnụ, Nna na Nwa na Mmụọ Nsọ.
Amen.
Listen to news updates on Ebonadi 103.5 FM immediately after Angelus 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebonadi FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that if we are hoping for a new Nigeria,
you can as well listen online via mixlr.com/GistFM.
Good morning and welcome to Ebonadi 103.5 FM News Update. Today, Tuesday, the 25th day of July 2023, and the time is 4 minutes past the hour of 6. Martin Ifan Chukwekeze is my name. The headlines. Ogidi community inducts Chief Mrs. Joy Ugonne Nwabeze into Iyom Society. Enugu government seals 106 shops, 2 banks over sit-at-home order. Muifuru congratulates Ebonyi youth for setting Guinness World Record. Traditional rulers to undergo biometric verification in Abia, Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa polls. Civil society organizations, political parties call for credible polls. U.S. sanctions Malian officials it accuses of having ties to Russia's Wagner. Now, details. Ogidi community inducts Chief Mrs. Joy Ugonne Nwabeze into Iyom Society. The tradition of Ogidi community was on full display as the distinguished Iyom Society inducted the Iyom Osodieme as a member of the former society on Monday, 24th of July 2023 in Ire village, Ogidi. Chief Mrs. Joy Ugonne Nwabeze, as the empirical approach of Iyom Society, verified her personality as a woman who deserve to be inducted into a society that defines what the attitude of a proper Igbo woman should be. History shows that the responsibility of Iyom is vested on women who live up to the task of protecting the truth at all times, as well as carrying out philanthropic projects that will improve the lives of people in the community. Wife of the traditional Prime Minister Ogidi, Icheuku Engineer Emeka Nwabeze, FMFR Ajie Obala Ogidi, was considered for Iyom Osodieme because of her contributions in the society, as she promised to continue to carry out philanthropic projects on the capacity of a member of the Iyom Society. Here is a report.
The type of Iyom Chinua Achebe described in the book Things Fall Apart is of the Iyom society in Ogidi community. This society, once a woman is initiated into it, she is expected to live a life of philanthropy, upholding and defending the truth always. It is a society for distinguished women as Ogidi community found Chief Mrs. Joy Ugunne Mwabweze worthy to be inducted as Iyom Usudieme Ogidi.
I'm really happy. I'm glad that I get to witness, this occasion. So I'm honored that I've been bestowed this opportunity to be in there. I mean, you have to serve the community. There's a lot of things I can do for the community to help the society. So I'm really glad I've been doing that.
The name Iyom Usodieme was chosen by her mother-in-law, Chief Mrs. Josephine Mwabeze Uduziako, who supported and recommended her induction as she described her as a woman who deserves such honor, as the name is simply her personality. The white outfit and elephant tusk anklets signifies membership of Iyom society, and it is a vital part of the initiation into Iyom society. As Chief Mrs. Ocheze Patricia Onido Ugubeze Ogidi is
Onye aji ọgbado na abụọ ihe ejikwa ochie nyaba enwe osisi enwe ọgwụ ọrụ ọzabasịa yọm nwanyị wichie yọm ya ekwe na ọdụ bụ ndị ichie nwanyị na ndị nzere ọzọ nọdụzere ọzọ nwanyị ọkara a na-akwa ala ụlọ enwe arụ ala pie ise a n'anya na-eme maka na ọ bụrụ obere ife ịghọtado nọ ya pụta anyị nọ n'elu ya wee na-agwa ya nwantị ka ọ wee banyesie ana m agbanye ya ọdụ aka n'ọgbago nke ụkwụ nke okwu ka a na-eme ọnya ka anyị na-eme
The president of Iyom Society, Iyom Igwese, explains the benefits of Iyom Society. Highlights of the event was breaking of kola nut by Ishewu engineer Emeka Ken Mabeze, MFR Ajio Ogidi, and dance from the Iyom Society. From Ire Ogidi, Martin Epan Shukweki is reporting.
In other news, Enugu government seals 106 shops, 2 banks over sit-at-home order. The Enugu state government on Monday seals 106 shops and 2 banks for allegedly observing Monday sit-at-home order by a faction of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. Newsmen reports the exercise was carried out by officials of the state government and Enugu Capital Territory Development Authority. Newsman recalls that Governor Peter Mba had last Monday threatened to sanction shop owners and banks that refused to open for business in compliance with the illegal sit-at-home order. Monitoring the situation in major markets in Enugu, the capital city. According to him, traders who continue to obey the order up until July 24th sued to lose their shops to serious-minded businessmen. The secretary to the state government, SSG, Professor Chidiebere Onya, who led the exercise, said the action was in line with the governor's warning. Onya said the governor's intention was not to punish businesses but encourage and inculcate the spirit of no sit at home in traders. He said that 85% of traders showed up in the market visited. The SSG said that the governor had made a commitment by providing security and buses at specific places to convey workers to the state secretariat. He said the measure became necessary because the state was tired of losing significant revenue by working for only 4 days a week. A trader who identified himself simply as Nnamdi said he usually wasted his transport fares to and fro his shops on Mondays without making any sales. Also, Mrs. Ngozi Oji attributed the traders' absence from the markets to fear of being attacked by gunmen. Oji therefore urged the government to provide adequate security in and around the market to allay the traders' fears. Mwifuru congratulates Ebonyi youth for setting Guinness World Record. Governor Francis Ogbonia Mwifuru has lauded the resilience and grit demonstrated by Walter Chukwuemeka as he sets a Guinness World Record of 130 hours marathon entertainment. The governor described Walter Chukwuemeka, popularly known as Miss MC Walter, as a quintessential comedian who has made immense contributions to the entertainment industry. He assured that his administration will continue to use the Ministry of Skills Development and Job Creation to encourage youth to harness their potentials and get to the zenith of their career. The governor commended Ebonyi people for their solidarity, which he said was a huge encouragement to the young Walter to achieve the rare distinction of achieving a world record. Traditional rulers to undergo biometric verification in Abia. Traditional rulers in Abia State are set to undergo the process of biometric verification according to Abia State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Uzo Mwachukwu. The commissioner added that having an accurate number of traditional rulers and their communities would assist the state government in the development of rural areas. In his response, the chairman of the Abia State Council of Traditional Rulers, Eze Joseph Nwabeke, assured that traditional rulers in the state would support the state government in its plans to transform various communities in the state. The chairman of the council and traditional ruler of the Ishiaketa Autonomous Community in Ishialangba South Local Government Area, Eze Nelson Merengba, who made this known in a statement, said that increase in their monthly stipends was the first of its kind. Kogi Imo, Bayelsa polls, civil society organizations, political parties call for credible polls. Civil Society Central Coordinating Council and a group of political parties have called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to ensure credible elections during the November 11 of Sako, Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa governorship elections. The group's call is contained in a communique issued at the end of a roundtable held in Abuja on Monday. The communique, which was signed by 14 persons, was presented by the National Chairman Action Alliance, Mr. Kenneth Udez. The National Roundtable therefore frowns at the call for the removal of the INEC chairman from office and unanimously rejects the call as being self-serving, myopic, and setback to gain made in the electoral process. Meanwhile, in her remarks, Executive Director, Center for Transparency Advocacy, CTA, said that the 2023 election was one of the elections where we had 1 or 2 positivities and 1 or 2 negativities, as with all other elections. She also commended the electoral body, calling on the commission to continue to make election progress. Now we move over to the foreign scene. U.S. sanctions Malian officials it accuses of having ties to Russia's Wagner. The United States on Monday imposed sanctions on 3 Malian officials, including the Minister of Defense, over accusations they facilitated the deployment and expansion of Russian Wagner Group's activities in the West Africa country. The U.S. Treasury Department said it imposed sanctions on Malian's Minister of Defense, Sadio Camara, who is said made several trips to Russia in 2021 to solidify an agreement between the Wagner Group and the Malian transition government to deploy the mercenary force. Malian's transition government did not immediately respond to a request for the comment on the sanctions, which freezes any U.S. assets of those designated and generally bar Americans from dealing with them. Wagner has battled in Libya, Syria, the Central African Republic, Mali, and other countries, and has fought the bloodiest clashes of 16-month-old war in Ukraine. It was founded in 2014 after Russia annexed Ukrainian Crimea Peninsula and started supporting pro-Russia separatists in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region. This is where we draw the curtain on news update on Ebona at 103.5 FM. But before we leave, a quick look at the headlines. Ogidi community inducts Chief Mrs. Joy Ugonne Mwaboeze into Iyom Society. Enugu government seals 106 jobs, 2 banks over sit-at-home order. Muifru congratulates Ebonyi youth for setting Guinness World Record. Traditional rulers to undergo biometric verification in Abia. Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa polls, civil society organizations, political parties call for credible polls. U.S. sanctions Malian officials it accuses of having ties to Russia's Wagner. You just listened to news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. News produced and read by Martin Ifanshuku Ekeze. Thank you for listening. Good morning.
Listen to news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM immediately after Angelus, 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebona FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that if we are looking for a new Nigeria,
you can as well listen online via mixlr.com/GistFM. How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebona FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Hello, government.
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is forcing social change across your streets. In your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanshuku number the force every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebona 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On Martin Ebona the corner 24/7, 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen, tighten your seatbelt as we take you on this smooth ride. Let's go! It's the morning drive on 103.5 Ebona FM, keeping your morning engaging as we take you through the smoothest ride on radio.
From 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
Getting your morning inspired, be informed. Let's interact only on the morning drive.
Make it a date with Martin Ifanshuku, aka Meta,
and Christy, aka Eminari, aka Classy.
Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
on the morning drive.